Okay, welcome back. Monday morning, and things have changed. It's not surprising. We're going to wait for some people to get in here. Good morning, Aisha. How are you doing today? Good to have you in here. Can't wait to do today. We got a lot of things to go over. Got a big week ahead. Let's see here. We'll give people some time to actually come in here. I like to give them a couple of minutes. Giving everybody a few minutes to come in. And let me go ahead and post a reminder over to Discord. I think we've done a pretty good job in the pre-market on these sessions of really preparing for the market. And I'm gonna give you a quick overview on that today. All right, got a few more people coming into the house. DJ Boas, good morning. Felicia, good morning. All right, going to give about one more minute and then we'll get started with the day. So one more minute. Let's see here. Boy, I'm over here in the Dominican Republic. We got some serious rain yesterday, I'll tell you that. Alvaro, Bilingual Stock Market channel, put out a pretty nice video over the weekend, and I created a post on that on Stock Chartistry. So I'll show that to you right now before we get started. So this is all from this. If you go to the Bilingual Stock Market channel, and you go to Alvaro's videos, okay. What I intend on doing, and I've been doing that. I was doing it for a while, but I had some framework things I needed to continue to work on for Stock Chartistry, so I had to put this on the shelf for a little while. But basically, I will capture what he's putting out there on his video for the public, and basically create a post, which basically, in a way, gives you the meeting notes for the post. So this is the post I created this morning from his video. To get to it, you can go to stockchartistry.com, and you just go here to the power zone, market edge, or I think just even the power. If you click on that link itself, the power zone link, it'll take you to a combination of market edge and the newsletter. I haven't actually put together my newsletter yet. Yeah, see, here's the post right here for Alvaro's latest YouTube video. So and you click on that, and then here you are with your basically the notes for the video. Recommend watching the video. I'm not saying to bypass the video, but it's always nice to have some structured notes, from the video. So there you go. Just wanted to share that with you. Down the road, probably, I'm hoping by the end of this week, I'll have my newsletter put together where you can go on there and you can subscribe and get a newsletter once a week. And eventually I'm going to actually have even pre-market updates newsletter giving you priorities on a list of like stocks. So let's see where we're at right now with everybody in the house here. And okay, it looks like we got quite a few people that showed up now, so we'll go ahead and we'll get started. Over the weekend, everybody knows the talks with the Iran, they broke down. I don't think that's a surprise. It wasn't a surprise to me. I don't understand how we could even be thinking that they weren't going to break down when there was no area where there was confluence between the two sides. So the market, on the idea of the talks happening, actually this was the move right here. This was the move. Wait. There. Here we go. There. This was the move right here. That was the move when they said, okay, we're gonna have a ceasefire and we're gonna go into talks. I was like, okay, well, I don't know what that really means. You ran up into the resistance, okay? And what I told you was, I said, we have a lot of overhead resistance, and therefore, I'm doubtful that we're going to get over this entire area of overhead resistance. I told you that, generally speaking, the center area of this becomes an area of resistance, and so we need to at least get above that center area, and otherwise, we just have a lot of overhang on us right now. And what we're looking at right now is basically what has been described by a lot of people as what's called an island reversal. And that's a bearish sign. And you also are looking at, basically on this, this is the 4-hour chart in case you're wondering. All right, you're looking at a bear flag on this 4-hour chart that's actually setting up right on the bottom of that, the new regression channel that I've actually drawn. You haven't seen this because I actually just drew this morning. This candle here is, it almost shot down below the low, and we got a save. We got a wick below and then a save above. That could end up being bullish. It almost feels to me at this time like the stock market's kind of hanging by its fingernails there. So losing this zone, you end up losing two areas of confluence, right? We're losing this, it was a support area. It didn't end up really being much support because we actually gapped over it, and now we gapped under it, and now we're running into it. So now it's actually a resistance area. So you got to get over top of that resistance area to be bullish, and then on top of that, you got to get over top of this bottom UTL, upward trend line is UTL, and I use these acronyms on purpose with you because especially if you're in the Discord chat with me, a lot of times I'll use acronyms and people be like, UTL, what does that mean? Okay, so if you want to be bullish on this stock, here's what you're looking for. You're looking for this, and when I say this stock, I mean the indices, and you're looking for that. And basically, your very first area of resistance is going to be the prior balance range right there above you, which it just kind of balanced out right here in that 660 area. Now, you take out this low right here with a candle, and we're in trouble. We're probably going all the way down here. Oh, 680 was that number, by the way. You're probably going all the way down here to 660. And by the way, that could actually happen very quickly because what you have going on here, when you have a huge candle like this, what it's telling you is that there's not a lot of volume in there. So I call those things like air pockets. So going to the downside on something that maybe if we can get a retest on it, but maybe you don't get too much of a spike through down that bottom, spike over and then under like that. So you guys notice I'm always trying to actually get in on the idea of a retest, okay? If the market just seems incredibly bearish, yeah, you know what? I'll jump in, but I will take the next candle, depending on the time frame, 15 minute, 5 minute, 1 minute, whatever it is. If I'm actually chasing something, I'll get in on a candle if I just feel like it's just going to rip and roar. Okay, but the very next candle that's printed, if it takes out the candle low, I'm out. Okay, and once again, that's a way. I don't really recommend chasing, but sometimes, like when you look at this, for example, there was not too much of a retest right here. We did actually get the retest, somewhat of a retest right there. But if you chased this out to here and you took the next candle low, you would have been out up here, and you could have got back in here again as well. So I'm not advocating for chasing, but if you are going to chase, what I am advocating for is that you actually do it responsibly, okay? So let's take a look at the dashboards and see what's going on with the dashboards right now. Now, this week is actually a week for earnings, and we also have PPI coming out. So there you are. Crude oil's back up again. Okay, let's just go ahead and minimize this. So crude oil is back up again, as you can see, and everything else is basically down. Natural gas, Bitcoin was having a pretty nice week last week, but it's now giving back. Gold is giving back. And the reason why is because when you look at it, you're looking at these interest rates are up. That's what this is showing. Interest rates are up. Yeah, slightly on this, not a whole lot, okay? But then also your VIX and your dollar, those are also up too. But especially the dollar plays a part, in regards to the stock market and especially in regards to the metals. So we're seeing, it's the same story. You're seeing the same thing. Now silver is not really giving back a ton, and neither is the SPY, considering how much the oil is actually up when you look at it, right? I was talking with Alvaro about this morning. I call this normalization. I feel like the 100 to 105 area has been normalized. We get up around 110, 115, okay, the market's going to start to begin to shake again. Now, PPI is coming out, it's either coming out Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Let me go ahead and pull that up for you. So let's put this week on. Let me size this up for you to see. Yeah, PPI is coming out tomorrow at 8:30, so that's a big number. I might move our meeting. I'll probably move our meeting to 8:15 like I did last time. We could do some preparation in front of PPI, but PPI is going to change the scenario. So there's no sense in doing a bunch of setup prior to PPI with PPI coming out at that time. Crude oil inventories at 10:30 on crude oil inventories 10:30 on Wednesday. Okay. Let me see here. All right, and jobless claims on Thursday. Big number, Fed index. This is an inflation read right here. That's very important. So just to kind of get a feel for what's going to happen this week. And then banks are actually doing earnings. Now Goldman Sachs just came out, so we'll put Goldman Sachs on the list to actually take a look at today. And I got a note from Alvaro that actually it was giving back, and I was preparing for for the live meeting, so I don't really have the information on that just yet. We'll take a look at that together. All right, you can see all of the indices are down. And then, as we mentioned, the VIX, the dollar, and the interest rates are up, okay? So if we go over here and we take a look at what I call the extended watch list right here, I feel like this really gives you a lot of insight into what we're looking at. USO is absolutely killing it, and of course the energy stocks are killing it again, right? So now, once again, silver on the futures market was actually just barely down, but silver, I'm constantly seeing this diversity between the ETF and the futures market and silver, which I find very interesting. Anyhow, silver is down by almost 3%, and that makes more sense. And then copper's down, so the metals are down. Semis had an incredible week last week. You can see that it's still doing the computation for last week on my dashboard right here because the market is not open. When the market opens, this will reset. But this is kind of helpful for a Monday because it's basically telling us if you add that 1% back in, you basically had about a 12% run last week. I told you last week, I said, when you see something run up that much in a week, usually the next week you're going to see a little bit of a give back. So this is not surprising. It was on the top of the list pretty much every single day last week. Now it's on the bottom of the list. But also we got the macro event that's actually driving that behavior as well. So then we got, I don't really concern myself a lot with what's going on in the middle of the pack right here. So basically we're just looking for the top. I call it trading on the edge. So down on the bottom, we're looking at technology, China. Financials, interesting, the financials actually is down on the bottom, but it's probably due to the Goldman Sachs report. We got the metals, and then your semis, and then Bitcoin are all on the bottom. Your leader is basically energy. Energy, 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 energy. Okay, other than that, everything else is flat. Good enough. Let's go ahead and let's get rid of that, and let's go ahead and take a look at the chart, which we already had the chart up. But let's throw some indicators on it and get you some levels, okay? I talk fast and I move fast because I want to get a lot of stuff in before 8:45. Be sure to be going ahead and adding in the tickers that you want to see. Let me see here. I want to put this back over on the side so I can see your chats. Here we go. So go ahead and be adding in the tickers that you want to see. Let's go ahead and we're going to add in my indicators, some moving averages, some pivots, things like that. So we're down here on the 4-hour chart, okay? On the upper part of this 4-hour chart, let's go from here to here, okay? So, yeah, okay. On the upper end of this 4-hour chart, we got ourselves a pivot high right here. And that pivot, boy, I wish I would have been awake for this trade, because that is really something. If you get something like this, you got so many areas of confluence here. You got your pivot high, not a pivot high, snapback high. You also got this trading high right here, right, where it snapped into that. Then you also have the very top of your resistance zone. It just did a very small spike over, and you lost it. So, you know, you could have actually got a nice scalp out of that. Then, of course, we actually ended up retaking it on Tuesday. The market just the market just wants to be bullish. I'm always telling people the market is rigged to the upside. Got ourselves a snapback low. So look at this, guys. This is really important. Got ourselves a snapback low. We also have this trend line right here. It's a strong trend line. I pulled this off a regression channel. It's tested it. It's actually closed over it, just barely right on it. It's actually in the resistance zone as we speak. We got some wicks here. There's a real battle happening. You do have some pretty nice help over here. You got the 50-period moving average. If you look at it, see it's sloping up, and that's what these labels here are designed to do, is to help you with that. So the 50-period moving average is actually sloping up. The 200-period, which is right here, okay, it has a slight downward slope. So you see that it's sloping down, but price is above it. A lot of times when you've been underneath of the 200-period moving average and you're making a run all the way from here to coming above it, you're actually going to come back under it, and you're either going to test and go under, or you're going to test and go over. You usually don't stay over on the very first time. If you look over here, our price is actually below the 5, the 10, and the 20, so the price is somewhat negative compared to the moving averages, but we do have some support off of the 50 and the 200 being up above those areas right now. So stocks don't turn around immediately, okay? It takes, it's pretty hard to kill a bull. So here we go. Down on the bottom, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have on our pivots. Got 667 right underneath of you. You got a snapback low at 671, okay? And then down below that, you have the 661. This is, I'm not so sure that this one here is such a strong, it's a really, really, really strong pivot right here. It is a pivot, so we're going to pay attention to it. It also has the moving average should be moving into that zone around the time that the price is moving in there, so that actually does offer some support. But this area here, this is huge. This area right here. We get down into this 661, you should be looking for a reaction there. I'm not saying to, if it's underneath of the moving averages and we lose this trend channel, you know, at that time I begin to think that you might want to be thinking about bearish moves. However, it wouldn't hurt to actually, and that's the way I trade, it wouldn't hurt to actually take a long right here, maybe a long right into this resistance, and then it comes back down and then you end up losing it. So. But you definitely would actually take a look at possibly at least taking something off if you want to continue to stay short. Okay, so that's my recommendation on that. Let's drive this down into a 15-minute chart. And I'm actually going to just take my 15-minute right here. All right, and here's your numbers on the 15-minute chart. So this gives you a little bit more information about what's overhead, what's underneath, okay? So overhead, you got 680.75 and 680.50. So this is a chop zone area right here. And then the very top we got is 682.50, okay? On the bottom, you got 674. Has offered some support. If you look right there, that's actually, you know, it's actually got, it looks like it's been like a pre-market area here for a while. So that's pretty strong in the pre-market, that's 674. So pay attention to that zone. One of the things I'm always mentioning to you guys is to go ahead and mark out these zones. Actually, let me go ahead and let me go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and, I don't want to mess up my charts. I have these, have all these different ways of displaying charts. This is the window that I use to trade my charts with, right? So when I'm trading my charts, I always want to have the pre-market high, the pre-market low, prior day close, and the prior day high as well, okay? So this is actually the trading window that I use. And then on your 15-minute chart, which is right here, and it's taking a second to load. Here we go. On your 15-minute chart, I automatically have everything already drawn in with pre-market low, pre-market high. So you need to mark these levels, the 670.53, the pre-market high, 677.08. So that's your pre-market high and your pre-market low. We also have, if you look at this is another indicator I have, which eventually I'm going to make this one available to people who buy my indicators or set up mentorship calls with me as a free indicator. And this is a gap up indicator. This is pretty nice because it shows where the gaps are at. And when you look at this, you can see we actually have a gap to fill coming down in here. So we're going to leave this version on because this is actually provided now 4 areas of confluence in this 662, 658 support zone should we end up finding our way back down there, okay? So mark that out, highly important, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to run through the Magnificent Seven. And then I'm going to look at what you have going. I'm going to actually do what I call a lightning round of 20 to 40 different stocks. And then we're going to, I'm going to take your requests as well, okay? On the Magnificent Seven over here, let's see who's up and who's down. So we're seeing very little give back on Microsoft, Tesla, and Apple, okay? Those are all above the SPY. And Amazon, Meta, Google, and NVIDIA, those are your strongest give backs. You know, NVIDIA had a great week last week, as you could see. Let me do this. NVIDIA had a great week last week, as you could see. So did Google, so did Meta, and so did Amazon. What did I tell you? If you have a great week one week, and especially if you're starting off down, these are going to be the ones that have the give back. So you want to pay attention to that. You could even, you know, do some, you know, lottery type tickets with those kind of things. And then Tesla had a terrible week last week, and it's actually beating the SPY this week. And you see that almost every week. That's the way it goes. Let's go ahead and take a look at these stocks. We're going to start off with, let's start off with NVIDIA. We're going to start off at the bottom of the pile and then move up to the top of the pile. Bottom of the pile meaning in the pre-market. All right, we're starting off down here with the daily right here and the weekly, okay? And so what we're looking at right now is that NVIDIA really is just kind of testing the top of this this range that it's really just been in forever. If you take a look at the daily chart right here, it actually also was just in this range of this this range right here, You see this upward range that I have drawn, and it didn't even make it to the top, but it made it to the middle. So what is the alternating plan here? All the way down, halfway up, outside, halfway up, lose. So if we lose this channel right here, it's going to be pretty bad for NVIDIA. I'm just not as bullish on NVIDIA as I used to be. The moat on it, I don't think is as strong as it used to be, and they're constantly trying to figure out a way to return the margin, get the margins down on them. So here's what we're looking at on the pre-market. The prior day low, mark out your prior day low, 184.3, okay? These numbers automatically mark for you with my indicators. You'll save yourself 5 to 10 hours a week is what's been averaged that people have to put in to actually do this, and then cleaning your charts back up. You won't have to clean up your charts. They'll automatically be drawn in. 186.5 is the pre-market low. We're actually down towards the bottom of the pre-market low. 186.8 is the pre-market high. Pretty tight consolidation range. Pretty strong movement down here on this candle. Looks a little bit of a bearish flag. Your prior day high is 188.83. You also have a snapback up there as well. Oh no, here's prior day high right here, 190. That's your snapback, and your prior day close is right there as well. You're underneath of all of the moving averages, okay? Your slope is not helping you hardly at all. It's either neutral to down other than the 200-day moving average, and the 200-day does look like it could provide some support. See how it did right here where we had a bearish move down, came into the 200-day, kind of consolidated around it, then bounced up off of it. So it's bounced off of it here as well. So pay attention. I say 200-day, I mean 200-period moving average on your 15-minute chart. Okay, that's it for NVIDIA. Moving into Meta. Meta looks like it's pretty much the same thing. You got yourself this bear candle, bear flag right here. That's what you're looking at. It's in a range in that bear flag. It's testing the top of that range right here, okay? We're looking at your pre-market. There you go. Your pre-market low right here, it's pretty close to the pre-market low, 620. You also have a snapback low there as well. So your pre-market high, it's a pretty tight range. Your pre-market high is 626.35. You got a lot of overhead resistance over here. 624.50 is a pivot. You got a snapback up here at 636.37. You guys, you remember I've showed you before about like looking at your balance range. So everything that we're looking at, this is the balanced range of what's happened since, nope, I'm sorry. You see here? See this prior day close right here? Look at that, prior day close. Let's do this. I don't like to actually show the aftermarket as a highlighted session because I like to really focus on price action, but when you're looking at your balance range, you really need to see that. So let's go ahead and turn it on. So here is your balance range, and we're seeing this with almost everything. I'm going to disregard this candle right here, disregard that candle right there, because I think that's a fake out candle. That doesn't even look right to me. So we're looking at right here is probably your balance range, and you got your snapback low right there. We're trading right now at the bottom third or so of that balance range, which means that there's a lot of longs that are trapped up here, right? So people, what ends up happening is that people see that they're making profits, and so you kind of look at something like this on the open. If this ends up like drifting down prior to the open, more than likely the way it ends up going, you don't usually just see a break like this. It can happen, okay? That's called a gap and go. But usually you don't see the gap and go. Usually you see profit taking, and it'll run up here into maybe the prior day low or the pre-market high. I'd love for it to actually get up to that pre-market high. Then what happens is, and I'm speaking across all stocks, not just across Meta, but then what happens is, whoops, here's what I'm wanting to show you. Then what happens is all of these trapped longs, these people who have just recently got in, they're like, okay, you know what, now's my time to get out, I'm gonna get out. And that's when you see it actually dump. So the play on this is probably something like this. And maybe a spike through, then a spike up, and then a spike down. That's what you end up seeing. This is called right here, this is what they do, you know, we've seen it so many times, right? This is their liquidity grab right here. So when you try to actually take that short coming straight out of here, right? they say, oh, okay, we got your money now. So they take your money, and then they run it back up. They being the market makers and the people who like to manipulate the market, and then they run it down. And that's just because they need the liquidity. So that's how it ends up working. Moving on to Amazon. Amazon's actually not as bad off as a lot of those other ones. When you look at the trade, when you look at the balance range, it's sitting right above the middle of the balance range. The pre-market activity is really, when you look at that balance range, the pre-market activity is really all up above, right? So that's actually bullish. Amazon actually does not look too bad. And considering that it had a heck of a week last week, this could be something as, to think about as possibly like maybe even a swing long. Not right now. Let's see what happens with the market. I want the market to feel good in order for Amazon to feel good. But it's looking good in regards to the price action with all the moving averages. The slope is not too bad. Yeah, everything is stacked. That means the 5, the 10, the 20, and the 50 are all stacked on top of each other. So you have price support right here, which is what the stack is showing you when you run into this. And you run into that snapback low, that there's buyers there. There's your 10 period, there's your 50 period, there's your 20 period, and then this coming up, that's your 200 periods coming up to support. So do not look at this time. This is not setting up for a long, but it is a little bit in the middle right now. So you need for it to get above that pre-market high for this to be a contender. Okay. Where's price action at right now? Right in the middle. You know what that is? That's a doji when you think about it, right? Essentially, this is from here to here, and then price is working out right here. That's a doji. That's a doji for this entire time frame. You don't trade dojis, right? So let's not, we can put it on a watch list to break up above at least the pre-market high or the prior day high, then it's a go on an upside. So Tesla, we all know Tesla's in a long-term downtrend, as we could see when you zoom this thing out. And actually, let's go ahead and, just because Tesla actually has really been getting killed, you look over here on the weekly chart, and you can see that that's exactly what's going on. Basically, it's in a downtrend channel right here, from here to here. Till it breaks that channel, you can't go long on Tesla. And then it's put in a snapback low, so that is interesting on the daily chart. The higher time frames for snapbacks are very important, but you also got a snapback over here. I also like to see it when it's happening on several different time frames. So this is pretty cool. Right around that 337, 340 area, there is a buyer there. If that buyer gets taken out, this will take a quick turn to the downside. What I would love to see with Tesla is this. I'd like to actually get long on Tesla soon, but I don't think it's the time yet. When you see this kind of like walk down like that, what you're looking for is you're looking for a capitulation out of that, which would be nice if we'd actually just now capitulate out here. Make a nice arrow for you right there. Capitulate out there, and then maybe we pick up some support, down around. Let's see what we could actually look at. So if we're looking on the daily time frame, well, for one thing, Elliott always says that you always come back and you retest the triangle apexes. So the triangle apex is 320.31. So that's a beautiful retest of that apex. Get into that 320 area, 295, 300. Yeah. So there you go. Begin to watch it right around that area. You could actually scale into that, I think, and you might be happy with it. It depends, though, if this market's actually going to turn into a bear market based on this, what's going on with, you know what, let's take a look at the 15 minutes on Tesla real quick. Time check, it's 8:34, so we're still doing okay, I think. All right, so Tesla, what are we looking at? Well, let's talk about our balance range first, since we have been kind of emphasizing that. Tesla's balance range is just huge. I'm going to disregard this candle right here. We're going to go from here to here. Tesla is right in the middle of the balance range. Tesla is a no-go for the beginning part of this trade. Here's your pre-market high, here's your pre-market low, here's your prior day high, here's your prior day low. You can see we're right in the middle of everything. Tesla is a no-go, okay? Tesla is a no-go. Put it on a watch list. Hopefully it breaks, hopefully it has some more of a breakdown so we can actually talk about getting long on this thing. It's already gotten beat up a lot, so I think it does have a chance. Amazon, I think we already did Amazon. So I think I'm gonna go to, this happens from time to time when you sort your watch lists in Thinkorswim, just to let you know. You see how now it's doing like 2 Amazons? You need to hit the escape key. If you don't hit the escape key, sometimes you'll lose items in your watch list. I lost Apple. Put Apple back on the watch list, and Apple's looking to me like it is. We got a lot of those fake outs right here. I'm pretty sure those are fake outs. Apple is in the middle. Don't diddle in the middle. Prior day high, snapback high, pre-market low, pre-market high. These numbers aren't even worth talking about. I'm not going to talk about them because you shouldn't be trading Apple out the gate. Apple needs to get out of this, the middle of this range right here. So Apple's a no-go. All right, let's see what you guys got. No, I'm going to do my lightning round right now, okay? So let's do a quick version of the lightning round. These are the 20 stocks that I actually show on my charts at all times. And just to show you, okay, I show these on my charts at all times on a different screen, okay? Meanwhile, in the background of this just to show you how I trade, I'll have this as like whenever I have like a main trade out, and then I have my alert window right here. And the alerts are actually being set off by what's in this window right here. This is where I actually pick out 12 stocks that I feel will run based off of that 20 stocks that we were just taking a look at. And so this is not my list right now. I'll update this list, you know, at about 9 o'clock once I look and see where bear flags and bull flags are. Then what happens is that it looks really busy. I don't even really look at this, but when it hits these numbers, I get automated alerts telling me, look at this, ORB, it's crossed over the high. That's an opening range breakout on the 12 different. So this sets up an automation for me, and this makes my system run that much faster and helps me to find trades. And that's how I'm actually very quick in and out on trades and finding the trades. Pretty easy for me to find trades. So let's go back to the 20 and let's take a look at what we're looking at on the 20. We already talked about Apple. Apple's in the middle, okay? AMD is the same thing. Looks like pretty much everything is going to end up being this way. We're going to have to see what happens in the market if this is the way it's playing out. AMD's in the middle. Right in the middle of the range, in the middle of the prior day low and the pre-market low. You got a snapback on Amazon on the 15-minute chart. It's pushing a little bit towards the top. It's in the middle. Can't trade it. Okay, got a really tight consolidation on Boeing. I do like to see these types of things. So Boeing should probably end up being on the list. And then watch Boeing, you know, you could actually play it to the high, but you see what the problem with playing it to the high, it'll work playing to the high, don't get me wrong, but you look at what you have. You have right here is resistance here, and then resistance here. So what ends up happening is you end up getting like a little bit of a breakout, but it's a little choppy. You know, it's a little choppy trying to get up above there. The preference on Boeing is this, right? So looking for Boeing, if the market's weak, let's look for Boeing as a possibility for a short, okay? All right, Bloom Energy, right in the middle of the range. We got ourselves, I'll tell you what though, I do like this, got ourselves snapbacks on both of those, on both the high and the low, so there's confluence there. On top of that, look at this, I also like this. When you have a pre-market low and a prior day low in tight consolidation like that, that's now the people who are actually trading off of that line, the people trading off of this line, and your buyer who actually bought right there. If you take all three of those people out, you should see that flush pretty quickly. So that could actually be very good. Don't stay too long. This stock has been bullish for a year and a half now, I think, at least. Coin had a pretty good week last week, I believe. Coin is stuck in a consolidation. It has overhead resistance right here. It's below. It's actually above the moving averages on the 15-minute, but the slope is actually pretty much sideways, and it's underneath of the 200-day. Coin, I would actually want to see this onto the short side because of the overhead resistance. And with Coin, you also have a snapback low right there, right here, snapback low. Let me just leave my square on because it's easier to just go ahead and show you that. GDX, I trade GDX rather than gold. I like the price range on it. I like it's actually GDXJ. I trade it because I also like the volatility on it. And you got yourself a snapback down here. So right now GDX is, it's on the bottom part of a trading range. Wouldn't be surprised to see this actually have a bounce up first. Don't stay too long. It does have overhead resistance at this time, and the market, unless the market actually just decides to squeeze the heck out of the shorts. Now, Google, we didn't talk about Google. I don't think I talked about Google in my 7. Google is in a consolidation range. We have ourselves a snapback right here. And we got ourselves a little bit of a bear flag, but I don't like when it plays out this long. That's kind of a long, even though it's pre-market, I'd rather have it not be played out that long. Hood, consolidation range. Hood and actually Google could go on the list. Okay, I'll tell you why I prefer it, and even Coin. And now that I'm looking at it, guys, when you look at this, you have an air gap right here, right? This is like an air gap. So you actually got the long and you have the short coming out of this. It's only about a 65% chance of coming out of a bear flag to the short side. So this actually gives you plays both sides. I kind of like that. And then Meta has a little bit of an upside gap. It has some overhead resistance. I'm not really interested in Meta. Not interested in Microsoft unless it's go short. It's already been beaten up. I think there's some better opportunities than Microsoft. Netflix, Alvaro did a great job on doing some fundamental analysis. Netflix is reporting earnings actually too, I think Wednesday or Thursday, so Netflix is one to watch. This may end up being a long, and Netflix has not necessarily been following the market. So if the market's going down, don't be surprised to even see Netflix going up. So here's your numbers on Netflix: 101.46, 102.43 to the downside, 104, 102. 104.102 to the upside. We also got ourselves a snapback on the upside. If it recaptures that snapback right above pretty much it's trying to actually capture it right now, and it's been consolidating right below that snapback. So that's bullish. And if we can we can kind of consolidate underneath that pre-market high, that would be bullish as well. Your balance range is actually favoring a little bit of a pullback on that on the open. NVIDIA, we already talked about. It's in the middle, but probably, well, really a little bit down towards the bottom third, actually. Bottom third. And NVIDIA, I would prefer to actually do a short. I prefer to short, it looks like most of the stocks. Silver has a gap above, so here's your gap above. We have an opportunity to trade into that gap, but it looks like it's trying to take out this snapback low and the pre-market low right now as we speak. So that's the view on silver. SNDK, I don't know how many times I got to change this. Okay, SNDK, I don't trade SNDK. It has a huge gap on the bid ask, and you better not need to get out of that quick if you're trading it. SNDK has been a beast, but I can't trade it. Anyhow, it's in a consolidation range towards the top. It needs to get above 870, is that 873? Yeah, 873.95 or below 859.21 to be tradable. The SPY is right now, as we speak, here's the update on the SPY. It's just sitting right there inside of that range. It's a support buy area. It's right inside. There is nothing to do with the SPY until it gets out of that range. Sit on your hands. If you trade the SPY, sit on your hands until it gets above this, 677.08, or at least gets below this trading range, okay? And then be prepared for it to have a reaction at that 670.53. All right. Tesla in the middle of the range. We already talked about TSM. TSM, God, I think they're reporting earnings as well. I'll have the earnings updates for you tomorrow, okay? I didn't prepare the earnings updates for today. We have a snapback low right at the pre-market low, so now you got double consolidation there. You also got a gap right here. You see this gap indicator is pretty nice. And once again, I'm going to offer that for free to people who actually buy my indicators or set up meetings. It's not ready to be delivered yet to the public, but I'll put that together this week. That's something you can keep on your charts anywhere from an hour down. It'll show up your gaps. Your Visa's looking pretty decent, even though it's somewhat bearish on the moving averages when you look at it, and it's had some problems of late. But it is consolidating. Maybe it's putting in a low here. Maybe that is the low. But it's got to hold that snapback low. It's got to hold this pre-market low. Possibly Visa could go to the upside. XOM, that one is right in the middle. It's right in the middle. It's trading right on the bottom of the pre-market low. Here's your pre-market high, your pre-market low. Actually, this one here I'm putting on the list, and here's the reason why. I love to find a stock that's actually got a nice, tight, very clear trend line like that. So you got, what you have right here is you have this and you have this. And if it can hold right inside of that at the open, I'll be on this at the open. Be prepared to go on the downside or the upside. I was mentioning to you on the last one that I talked about, NVIDIA, about how it was looking to bust up, and then I showed everybody on Discord that I was actually looking for it to go long or short, and I forgot about the long side, and it ended up blowing out, and that's actually what I had actually talked about in the pre-market. You can see right here that I talked about NVIDIA exploding, and that we needed to watch it to the long side, and I didn't pay attention to my own pre-market show. I should have marked both, and there's a lesson for you in that. So you sometimes when you're trying to create your narratives, you're trying to actually be able to think like, if it does this, then I'm ready to do that. If it does that, then I'm ready to do this. I only prepared for it to actually break the trend line when I was doing when I was actually just getting my pre-market plan together. I should have prepared for it to break the high as well, and I could have made some good money off of that. But I hope some of you guys actually got that, because I did put that out on the pre-market, and that's why it's available on that short. And then we have the SPY looked weak, and be prepared for it to really not have much of a day on Friday, and that's exactly what happened. And then I also pointed out that Palantir, where's Palantir? Palantir looked like a short if you wanted to have a short. And if you would have went short on Palantir, you would have made some big bucks. So I do believe that these pre-market sessions have been providing value for you guys, and I'm really happy to do that. I will only do one stock because I need to let you guys get ready for the pre-market. And so let me see what you got. Let me see the person who actually put in the first one that I haven't gone over. And let's see what we got here. Microsoft I went over. Value gaps, I didn't mark out value gaps. Hood, great idea, let's do Hood. I think I touched on Hood on the 20, but let's go ahead and let's bring it out a little bit more. Okay, Hood is in a downtrend right here. And we need to pay attention to this. This is your primary consideration when you're trading Hood, okay? Right here. All right, that is Hood right now. That is not a good looking chart, guys, okay? It looks like it's trying to break that snapback low. I hardly ever get snapback lows on weekly charts, okay? So it looks like it's trying to break that snapback low. Your snapback high, the last time you got a snapback high was way back over here. So anyhow, Hood is actually not looking good, but if we're trading this on a daily time frame, since we're not looking good on that weekly time frame, and it looks like it's basically just really super weak stock, you should be looking for the low. You should be actually looking to trade this as a short. okay? It's actually right now, it's in the, it's got a balance range right now where it's kind of down towards the bottom, okay? So be careful about this. We know, and we understand what the balance range rules. You have this, and then you have this, right? And so what ends up happening is you got profit taking on the open, so it's a possibility that maybe your first move is you see this, then this, then this. You get a little bit of a chop before we actually see something like that, right? So, but this is what I would look for. I would actually, I would capture these numbers, which we've already got right here. Your numbers are, I'm going to read them out to you, 67.35. Your snapback low is 67.55. You got pre-market high and your prior day are kind of in this same area, this 68.28 area, 68 area, and then your prior day close is way up here, and then your moving average is your 200 period moving average is actually sloping down, and it's just bare. It's really just kind of like in this whole range right now, just chopping around right now. But wait for it to get out of that range. Wait for it to get out of that range. Wait for it to get out of this, and then you got yourself a short. You got a lot of overhead stuff here, so I would not look long on this. That's it, guys. That's it for the day. Make lots of money. I hope this benefited you. Hey, drop a like, drop a comment, okay? I'm trying to promote this channel. Look me up on stockchartistry.com, and be sure to check out Alvaro's video that I actually did the post on over on Bilingual Stock Market channel. Talk to you later.